So I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few coaches to this point in my career, whether it's high level coaches such as your Olympic coaches or professional coaches, all the way down to youth sport coaches. And when I ask all of them, what is your most desirable quality that you look for in an athlete? The answer, after very little thought, is not hard work, it's not leadership, it's not how well they communicate. Almost every single coach will say the exact same thing. The most desirable quality to them is consistency. Oh, what a topic consistency is. This is going to be a good conversation. Today, we are definitely going to get better. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Train with Perk. My name is Jay Tuft, and if you're an athlete, a parent, or coach, and you're looking for tools, tactics, and techniques that are easily applied to help either your mental performance or the mental performance of somebody that you care about, well, then you are in the right place. Consistency. So I had an athlete reach out to me yesterday. A new client wanted to reach out, and they wanted to get some help on a few things. And when talking to them in kind of that initial conversation, one word kept coming up. And I mean, I tell you what, if you were to poll like 100 people who work in sports psychology or mental performance, absolutely in the top 5, if we're playing Family Feud, poll 100, the top 5 answers firmly seated in the top 5 would be, I want to be more consistent. So let's break that down, because again, it is an incredibly desirable trait. It's absolutely something that coaches place a ton of value on. And maybe let's start the conversation with why. Why do they place a lot of value on consistency when in terms of, I guess over hard work, leadership, communication? It really boils down to when you're a coach, when you're the leader of either an organization. This just isn't coaches, but let's say that you go work for a company, you go work for an employer. They're probably going to say the same thing. Are they consistent? Why is that? Because when you're consistent, you're also reliable. They know what to expect from you. And that holds true in the athletic space. That holds true in the sport space. If you're consistent, it's a lot easier for them to trust you, because they know when they put you either in that big meeting or, for many of you more directly, when you're placed on that competitive surface, they have a pretty good idea about what they're going to get, and that allows them to trust you. And with that trust is going to come more opportunity for you. It's going to come with more playing time, a bigger responsibility, a bigger and a more elevated role on the team. Such an important conversation this is. So anyway, I had this athlete reach out, and that's one of the reasons why we're doing this video today. And to share with you, kind of, this is the way that I've always taught consistency, and it comes from an experience that I've had very early on in my career that has absolutely been one of the more influential. So very early on in my career, I was fortunate enough to spend some time, a significant amount of time working down at the Olympic Training Center. I'm located out here in Denver. There's a training center located in Colorado Springs. And the work that was done at the Springs, to put it simply, was essentially we were trying to identify for each athlete that came through our doors, what was the optimal mental state, right? How did their brain work? How was their brain firing? As well as the optimal physical state, so in terms of how much cortisol or stress was their body feeling, right? How much tension was there? So on and so on and so on. And we would identify for each and every single athlete what that looked like. And then we would train them, right, through a variety of different exercises and techniques that we did with them. We would train them, okay, this is what you can do, and if you train this response, your mind will then respond and your body will respond with the appropriate state that's going to lead to a lot more success for you. So really cool work. And here's the thing, we had some nice big fancy equipment down there. You don't need fancy equipment to do this. You don't need fancy equipment to install these principles. Okay, you don't really need a heart rate monitor. What you really need to be able to do is you need to be able to recognize, okay, what does it look like for me to perform at my best mentally and physically? What's that state look like? Do I have that completely ironed out with myself? Do I have a really good understanding of what that is? Because that directly brings us back to what does it take to be consistent? And again, this is one of those topics, or this is one of those pieces of advice it's so obnoxiously simple, yet so hard to accomplish, because it's really simple. If you want to be more consistent, here's the secret sauce, right? All it really comes down to is you're going into your performance and you want to be consistent, and you're going into a series of performances. Let's say you're going to have 10 performances coming up, and you want to be as consistent as you can be, right? So, well, we know that results aren't in our control. There's too many variables, and heck, maybe that'll be a video sometime in the future. We'll talk about that. But we know that results are completely outside of our control. At least we should. And so we can't control that. So what leads to consistency if it has nothing to do with the results? Well, think about those 10 performances that you have coming up. Your ability to be consistent will 100% be determined by your ability to get yourself to the best possible physical and best possible mental state. Okay? And again, that's going to look completely different for each and every different person, right? There's so many variables that can go into that, but that's really how simple it is, right? Because if you can consistently get yourself to a place where your mind is in the best state that it can be on that day, and your body is in the best state that it can be on that day. So, let's say your mind is, you're as focused as you can be, you're as in the moment as you can be, your thoughts are very simple, and you're focusing on the relevant cues that you need to be able to. Likewise with your body, your energy, you've got good energy, your heart rate is, amped up, but it's controlled. Your breathing is a little bit elevated, but it's not out of control. It's right where it needs to be. It's very efficient, right? And if you can get yourself to that place, right? It sounds so simple, doesn't it? Just get yourself to that place more consistently, and you're going to put yourself in a position to have more consistent performances, because at the end of the day, that's all we can do. The only thing that you can do on any given day is to get your mind and get your body in the best possible position to succeed. If you do that, that's where consistent performance comes from, right? Now that's the simple sounding part. Here's where it gets hard, and here's why it's so hard to do. Because for a lot of people, this is like climbing a mountain, right? So imagine, you at the mountaintop is, your performance is going to start, right? Or, your performance is going to start, and at the top of the mountain is the best possible mental state and the best possible physical state. Okay. Well, it's two things that are going to get you up the mountain, or it takes really two aspects of being able to get from where you are, from the mental and the physical state that you are, to the mental and the physical state that you need to be. The first thing is you need to have the tools to get yourself up the mountain, right? So, and that, that's again that skill-based conversation of, can you control your focus? Can you get yourself in the right, mental state by whether it's where your emotions are, how much information can you accurately analyze and assess? How well are your decision makings, right? There's, and again, do you have the ability to get yourself in that state? And that takes a lot of work, that takes a lot of training, but eventually you can have the tools that get you up that mountain, right? The other side of it is, on the way up the mountain, there's a lot of crap in the way, right? There really is. There's a lot of stuff in the way up the mountain. I mean, there's maybe you slept terribly the day before. Maybe the previous performance didn't go so well, and now that's lingering in your mind here, right? Maybe the coach is taking some opportunities away from you, and that's affecting kind of your physical and your mental state. I mean, there's just so many things that can get in your way. And so you want to be consistent. It's a heck of a journey. It's a heck of a job, right? For you look at these high-level athletes who do what they're able to do, and especially the ones that we really admire, those really consistent ones, those consistent performers, whether it's just consistent in general or consistent in certain situations, they just always find a way to show up. How do they do that? They're getting their mind and their body in the best possible position to succeed, and that takes a lot of work. I mean, there's nothing easy about this. It takes a lot of work, and also they've gone out of their way to remove as many of the obstacles as they can, right? They've fixed the holes in their mindset. They've the lack now of holes in their mindset is going to allow them to better handle when the coach is being the way that he is, or when the previous performance was the way that it was, or any of the other just rocks and bushes and trees and broken trailheads on your way up this mountain. If you can do that, if you can find a way consistently every single performance to climb that mountain and to get yourself in the best possible, and work to get yourself in the best possible mental and physical state, because it is work. I'll say that again. I'll probably say that a bunch more times on this channel. It takes work, but if you do that, if you can get yourself to a place where your mind is in the best position that it can be in, and your body's in the best state that it can be in, and you've taken time to understand what that place is, and you've developed the tools that are necessary to get you there, well, then you are going to be in a really good position to have some consistent performance. As always, if you like the video, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. Definitely hit the thumbs up button. I guess let's do this for the comments. Comment to me on what some of those obstacles are for you, right? What are some of the obstacles? Because I'll even take a look at some of those obstacles. I'll leave you a comment back, and I'll probably even make a video on it to help out with some of that stuff. Because again, it's twofold. Can you develop the skills that are needed to get yourself there, and have you taken the time to make sure that your mindset's in a place that you can remove a lot of the stuff, a lot of the challenges that come naturally with it. Thank you guys so much for your time. We will see you next time.